political leadership, our political leaders, something's going wrong here, isn't it, with them on this?
I think it's quite obvious to everyone in this room, just the kind of sacrifices that both my grandparents made for the liberation of our country. I'm not just Nelson Mandela's granddaughter, I'm Winnie Madikizela Mandela's granddaughter too. And when I think about the kind of leadership, from my grandparents, and just the kind of lessons that they imparted in my life, I think we can all be reminded of just how they've, used their circumstances, used their challenges to try and empower the lives of others, and doing so authentically. And I think a lot of the work that I do is really based on their teachings, and it's based on maximizing on the platforms that I've been afforded, because had I not been a granddaughter to these iconic human beings, I don't think people would be listening. I don't think people would be listening, but they're listening, and I think it's important for me to really address the issues that society is really plagued with, and to talk about my personal experience, because that's what I've been taught to do by my grandparents. So I talk about, and under the umbrella of my foundation, I talk about, breast cancer, being a 2-time breast cancer survivor myself. I talk about, being a recovering alcohol and drug addict as a result of the physical and sexual abuse of my childhood and my teenage years. I talk about child loss. As I mentioned earlier, that road traffic injury was one of the reasons that I lost one of my children, and the second being my second child, who was, who passed on just shortly after I gave birth due to an infection that I developed in my womb. I also talk about, the reality of the fact that, there's so many things in my life that so many people are dealing with as it is, that have led to issues of mental health. So being a survivor of depression, and being someone that's overcome suicidal ideation, so it's important for me to continue sharing my story, and I think to also encourage women, to speak up, to take a stand, for themselves and for their children, because at the end of the day, if I am really brutally honest about, my experiences with, my daughter's tragic passing, it had to take that unfortunate experience in my life to pay attention to what's really going on in the world. And I think it's sad that in this day and age, and almost 10 years since my daughter's passing, that we continue to lose the lives of so many of our young children who are going through even worse than I have gone through as a child and an adolescent. And so it's important for me to, continue addressing these issues, and I'm just thankful that I'm here and able to do so.
Thank you very much.